All right, so I just read up on the Godzilla reboot that was showcased at Comic Con, and I've also actually seen more of this than other Comic Con panels because there have been YouTube videos of the exhibit where you can see Godzilla walking past the building. Um, but this, more so than a lot of the other panels, this is one I'm definitely looking forward to, and I'm definitely more curious. Partially because they've revealed less, and partially because basically ever since I was a kid, I've been a real big Godzilla fan. So, so of course I'm interested in what director Gareth Edwards has to offer, because he has said that this is kind of a passion project of his. I mean, he's going to treat it kind of in a realistic way, which I don't know, I'm kind of interested to see. But then again, everything is dark and supposedly realistic nowadays, and that doesn't always pan out well. I mean, again, look at, I hate to keep going back to Man of Steel, but it's true. Sometimes realistic just doesn't work, but then again, the original 1954 Godzilla was fairly heavy for, especially for its time. But yeah, that's easily the original 1954 Godzilla is easily my favorite monster movie of all time, and for good reason. I mean, it's very well made. It's it kind of goes with the idea that Godzilla was made from the nuclear fallout of nuclear testing, and it kind of it's kind of really darkly brilliant in that way because it came about a decade after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So it's really kind of it can also kind of be seen as a commentary on that, in addition to a monster movie. But on top of that, it's just a well-made monster movie. I mean, they treat it like an actual disaster, which I think really gives it that entertainingly unsettling vibe, especially later on in the movie where you see all the dead bodies and the hospitals. Some fans have taken issue with the fact that they put Raymond Burr in the American version, which I can kind of see why, because he really doesn't do anything other than explain stuff that's going on. I mean, obviously he does play a journalist in the movie, but he just basically says what's going on screen. I mean, he doesn't really have anything story-wise to do. I mean, he doesn't really contribute all that much to the plot other than giving Americans an audience proxy. Yeah, but regardless of that, I still do really love the first Godzilla movie, and I really like the cheesiness of the original series of films, and actually the original series is probably my favorite just for cheesiness value, because those monster battles in the original are sometimes so ridiculous that they're actually really entertaining. I mean, some of the scenarios and villains are kind of so ridiculous too, because Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla. That's one of the better ones, actually. Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Actually, no, that was in the second series. Never mind. There was Godzilla versus Monster Zero. Um, but I think one of the Godzilla films that you can take the most seriously, ironically came from the first series, because the original 1954 Godzilla had a real gritty look to it. Most of it took place at night. It was filmed in with really low angles, so to kind of give the illusion that Godzilla really was this behemoth rather than just a guy in a suit. That he's appropriately being so big. They kind of toy around with the film speeds. So yeah, it's very effective, and it still holds up in my opinion. So when I heard that they were rebooting the series, basically with an all or mostly American crew and cast in an American studio, I was curious because the last time we got something like that was in Roland Emmerich's Godzilla, which that's a horrible Godzilla movie, but at the same time I kind of find it entertaining. Not because it's good or anything, but because compared to a lot of Roland Emmerich's other stuff, I actually like watching it in comparison to his other movies like 10,000 BC, 2012, and what was that one he just released? The Die Hard one, the White House Down. So yeah, I'll take Godzilla over 10,000 BC any day because at least his Godzilla movie didn't mess around with history. Yeah, apparently the pyramids were built by cavemen. But from what I've seen, the design of this new Godzilla movie, at least in terms of the monster, is pretty close to the Millennium Era the third series Godzilla, who like kind of bulky, very, I mean, notably spikier than the other ones. I mean, just having this really kind of it's probably the most reptilian look of the three main Godzilla designs. And Gareth Edwards' Godzilla seems to stick pretty close to that. And they've said, I believe they've said that that the effects will be a mixture of a costume monster, which was how they achieved all the other Godzilla movies, and CGI. Now, how much CGI they're going to use, I can't really say. I hope not a lot, because that one Japanese movie that was released a few years back, it wasn't a Godzilla movie, but it had a dream sequence where it showed basically the Millennium Godzilla, but a CG version of it. It looked kind of laughable. I mean, it lacked texture. And Godzilla, I don't know, kind of did this like head twitch or something, kind of like he was this kind of very animalistic head twitch or head shake before he roared. So I don't know if it's gonna look like that. I hope it doesn't, because that looks kind of laughable. But as for the cast, I'm not really sure how to feel, because again, it's mostly American. But these are good actors. You have Aaron Johnson, who I don't like his film choices, but that doesn't really mean I dislike him as an actor. I mean, he's fine. I mean, I don't like his movies. Like, I can't stand that the comic book movies, the Kick-Ass. I can't stand that movie. I'm in a minority, but I hate that movie. But again, it's not because of anything he did. I mean, he was fine. I mean, he played the part pretty well, but again, it's and Anna Karenina, but that wasn't because of anything he did, because A, he was miscast, B, it was the way that his very unlikable character was written. in that movie. But I digress. Elizabeth Olsen. I'm not a fan of the Olsen twins, but I'm willing to give her a chance because in truth, I haven't really seen the Olsen twins in a whole lot of stuff. So, aside from Full House, but that was like 20 years ago. So, David Strathairn as the Major. David Strathairn. I mean, at least there's that. But the ones I'm zoning in on are Bryan Cranston, who basically I've been introduced to him fairly recently, but he is a very good actor. I mean, he's been in. I mean, yeah, he was in the remake of Total Recall, but he was actually one of the highlights of that. Him and Colin Farrell. But he was in Argo. He was in Drive. So, and he is a good actor. I mean, he has kind of this gruff charisma to him. So it says here he's playing some guy named Joe Brody. I hope they don't cast him as kind of one of those two-dimensional movie general guys. The very gruff army guy. Basically the kind of character that they spoofed in the Toy Story movies with the R. Lee Emery little army men toys. I hope they don't make him one of those characters because I really don't like those characters. Richard T. Jones as the Colonel. So he might be the two-dimensional army guy, but probably the one I'm most eager to see is Ken Watanabe, because A, he's Japanese, so points there, and B, he's Ken Watanabe. I mean, he just not only does he just ooze charisma, but it doesn't really say who he's playing, at least not yet. But he is a very good actor. I mean, he can elevate a lackluster script. I mean, Last Samurai was good for the music and for the performances by him and Tom Cruise and Tony Goldwyn. So yeah, really looking forward to the Godzilla reboot because I don't know. They say that it's going to be kind of a darker Godzilla movie. They're going to show a lot of the destruction, a lot of the casualties. Bryan Cranston has actually gone on record saying that it's a more human movie, which hopefully it's not going to be like all the other a lot of other Godzilla movies where all the humans are just kind of stereotypes. And you just kind of fast forward to the monster battles. Yeah, from the limited amount that I have seen, it looks good. I mean, I am looking forward to it, especially being a fan of these movies. I'm kind of eager to see what this new generation of filmmakers does. Which Gareth Edwards, I've never seen any movie by him. I mean, he's a relative newcomer. He has directed the 2010 film Monsters. He did an episode of a television show, and he did the visual effects of a documentary. That's about it. But then again, relative newcomers have proven themselves in the past. I mean, Mark Webb, I think the guy's name is. He directed. I'm not really a huge fan of these movies, but they were fairly well received. Mark Webb directed 500 Days of Summer and Amazing Spider-Man, which were both fairly fairly well liked by critics and audiences. So I'm not going to immediately dismiss the movie just because Gareth Edwards has is pretty inexperienced, at least in comparison to a lot of other directors working nowadays. So, like I said, I'm kind of interested to see where the whole thing is going to go. I mean, I hope it pans out. And Edwards has even said that he would be interested in making Destroy All Monsters. Kind of remaking that in the same vein, in the same kind of more intense vein as this new Godzilla movie. I don't know. I mean, I'm still holding out for the remake of King Kong vs. Godzilla. That really stupid movie. So, maybe I'm just dreaming, because King Kong vs. Godzilla, if they were to take the actual size of the monsters, Godzilla would win. In fact, Godzilla did win. I don't care how the movie ended. Godzilla won that fight. Kong ran away like a little wuss. But I'm just thinking out loud now. So yeah, Godzilla. I really hope it's good. Because if not, then we're gonna have to wait another 20 years for Toho to make another real Godzilla movie. Or maybe not. Maybe it'll be like the case with with Godzilla 2000, which was almost made in retaliation for the Roland Emmerich Godzilla. Like, you screwed up our creation. We're gonna make a completely new Godzilla movie. After 10 years, we're gonna make a new Godzilla to show you stupid Americans how it's done. Which, Godzilla 2000 was fun. It was better than Godzilla 1985, in my opinion. I mean, it actually had him fighting another monster, but again, thinking out loud, Godzilla, I hope it doesn't suck.